In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
For the past 10 years, I've had a desire to create videos. It's one of my childhood dreams, and thankfully I've been able to accomplish my other childhood dreams of being a landscaper, a trash guy, but this is one of my remaining goals. And something that always stumped me in the past was never being able to start at the beginning. I always wanted to go back to the beginning of the story to have it all so I could look at it in the future and have something that I can look back on and see where I started. And with landscaping and a few of my other endeavors, I could never do that. But instead of just recording and uploading and having that history, I chose not to. But here's where that changes. I thankfully have the opportunity to start here at a new beginning. So welcome to Chapter 1. There's a significant chance that what I'm wanting to do might not work. On the chance that it does, I'd rather overcome the fear of failure and having proof of failure than not seeing this at all. A lot of times, the reason I want to record is to have memory of things. I tried doing this back in January when I decided to try and start a cleaning company. And in all regards, it worked for the month or couple months I did it, but I didn't enjoy it. So it kind of goes to defining, I guess, failure, because it was a learning experience and I learned I didn't want to do that. I'm so afraid to jump into something new that I haven't done before. But I have to do it and able to learn. And it's so interesting that there's things where it's been easier that I haven't ever done before to go and just jump into it. Yet this is an area where I'm frightened for that. I'm looking for something I can build and learn from. It's what I'm going to school for, is accounting currently. And I have an interest in it of just, placing the numbers together, a little bit of personal finance in there as well. And so if I can get exposure to other companies and how they're running and learn how to operate businesses based off financial data, which is something that I didn't know how to do beforehand, but if I can create the data or just, compile it into how it's supposed to be done and then use that to budget to say, all right, I want to hit a profit margin. I didn't know what a profit margin was while I was running C&D. I had no clue. If that can be the way I can serve people, I want to be able to serve people in that way. Because I just I've been caught and stuck here in the before because I am freaking out. And I'm like, why? What does failure look like in this? And it's there's nothing. It's like, okay, my one thing would be spending money on a website. That's it. Because if I learn that I don't like this, I can pivot before I'm done with school, or I can help myself out for having work experience in the field that I want to go into, and just, I feel like a freaking baby because my brain just does not, I don't know it yet. I don't know how to do stuff like that, and there's people that are better at it than me. I know how to learn it, I think. It's through application, and I'm going to school for it, so it's going to teach me that along the path. But I'm like, I don't think I'm too early, but it's just, I'm just scared. And I don't want to put a camera on it and it not happen. Or even write in my journal and it not work. But that doesn't make any sense. I'm wanting to give it a shot, even though I have no clue what I'm about to do. There's something yesterday that we went over the first chapter of James. Bible study. And he was talking about temptation and how temptation is not from God. And I brought up the question of what is the difference between temptation and guidance. The difference is when you're tempted, it's often you got to look at what you're doing. Are you being pulled away from Scripture? Are you not praying? What is changing in your aspect of how you're treating things? Are you being more in your own mind than you are understanding that it's under control? Whereas guidance, you're not being pulled from those things, you're being pulled into them. And that's something that I just keep asking for. It's just, Lord, show me if this is what I need to do. If this is something I need to think about. Make it make sense or make it leave. And that's where I'm at. I've had stuff where I've said, hey, should I focus on this? And then a week later, I don't want to. And it's like, okay. And this is one that's holding in there. And the other thing with it too, like I said, what is the cost of me doing this? Nothing. It only helps me. If this is what I'm gonna do for a job, this only helps me. If I say I don't want to do this, that helps me too, because then I gotta figure out a new major to go into. But if this is like something I enjoy doing in my free time for myself, but I can help people understand it, because I'm sure I'm not the only dude who had a company and was like, what the heck? Or like, you're bringing money in and it just leaves. And you're not spending a whole lot, or you're not trying to, but then it disappears, it seems. And so just figuring out pricing and how to effectively run a company while also still being morally inclined and focused. I want to be able to help with that. If that's a skill set I can develop, that's something I want to do. And so if this is a path where I get to do it, I am excited to give it a shot. So you're catching me at the bare bones of this. Like, I started thinking about it probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. Stuff just kind of piles together. I started my online class at the beginning of this summer, and it was on managerial accounting, which is interior accounting of a business, and I really liked it. And then I was talking with Josh of JP Design, who I worked for last summer, and he was talking to me about how he wants to figure out how to better price stuff and how to have a better paying model. And I was like, I'm interested in trying to learn how to put that together. And I realized from that, you got to go back and do the books, because with the books, then you can budget. And with the budget, you can then run all your stuff. And so I'm like, okay, let's learn how to do books. So I started to do a course. You've got QuickBooks, and then this is another accounting software. And so I'm level 1 certified, and this is going to be my level 2 professional certification once I finish it. I still have probably half of it left, but that's professional certification. So like, I'm official there, and to have access to this stuff, I've got to have a client within 60 days. And that was like a week ago that I started. So I probably got 50 days left to get someone onboarded. So it's not fully crunch time, but it's like, hey, I want to do this. It's something I feel like I can do while I'm in school. It's something that I can do after school. It's not location locked. It's computer work. It's a service to other people. It can help me build relationships. And that's what I really want to do, is like, if I am able to get clients, I just want to build relationships. Because there's the other thing. This is going to be automated in the next 3 years. You will have the option to have a bookkeeper or to have it done with AI. AI is pretty much to the point where it can reconcile your books for you already, as I'm recording this. And so yeah, that's kind of intimidating,
Because it's like, why learn this if it's just going to get wiped out? But I think it's worth it on that human aspect of understanding it. Like me typing into ChatGPT versus someone speaking to me, caring about my situation, and like coming to me either in person or on a video call and being able to talk stuff through with me, I would value much, much more. And if I'm paying for it, that's what I would want as a service. I didn't get this whenever I paid for bookkeeping. I didn't even get any of my financial documents. And if I did, I wouldn't have known what to do with them. But for me to put them together, to give them to someone and say, all right, based on this, here's where I think we should go with the goals that you've got. And what are your goals grounded in? And caring about their situation and not just having it be a number. I'd be interested in that. So this is a long form way of me saying that I'm scared. And another part of what we read in James last night was be a doer. And the message I've been getting before this for weeks has been be weak. Understand that you are weak. And where you're weak, God is strong, and he will use his strength to strengthen you. Across multitudes of texts, sermons, books, everything that I ingested over the past 3 to 4 weeks was saying, hey, go into a spot where you're weak. I think this is it. I am so scared of trying something new. In this regard, like, freaking was easier for me to move to Montana than it is for me to do an online free course to become a bookkeeper and then ask someone, hey, could I do your books for you? Be a doer. Want to just walk with God in this. And I can't ever see where we're walking. And a lot of times I'm just so content to just go anyway. But this is a time where I'm like, whoa, I don't know what's in front of me. But that hasn't stopped me before. So why is it stopping me now? Couldn't tell you. But we're just going to walk. And if this never happens, so what? Literally, so what? Because when I tried doing this in January with the cleaning company, that literally never left my camera roll. That was a service company, but not something that I was doing to serve others. This is something where I feel like I can help serve others, and I want to be able to serve. So we're going to give it a good faith and effort shot, and if I have an inclination to absolutely switch up everything and do something completely different in a month, this got me to learn that, but I've got to do it to find out if I want to change out of it or if I need to stick in it. Bro, I'm scared. I know I've said that, but I want to make that very apparent. Like, I am fearful. And it probably makes no sense. And I'll probably go back on this and say I could look back on it in 3 or 4 years, 5 years, and be like, man, why was that kid so freaking out? Because I look back on the stuff I did with C&D and I was like, oh my gosh, he just had no clue. And he just had confidence because he had no idea otherwise. And I guess now I've learned the otherwise. And now I don't have confidence. And my grandma was saying, like, no, you've got confidence still, but man, it's been beaten down. It's not like I used to have it. So it may not come natural anymore, but it's something that I've got to just kind of force myself to do because it's where I need to go or where I feel like I need to go. And if it's not where I need to go, then I'll change. Opportunity cost is something that is like so stressful because I can't calculate it. But it's also sunk cost fallacy. But it's not sunk at all because it's like I'm learning. And that's all that we're called to do. So learn and serve. I'm gonna learn right now. And only time will tell if this ever makes it on my camera roll. But we're gonna try. God's here. God loves us. and he gives us a beautiful day. This is my great view. It's wonderful. It's nice and pretty outside. It's gotten rain. And we're gonna do some of this and see if this takes my job. My goodness. All right, let me get to work. All right, so it's been like 2 weeks or a week, and I've got a few updates. First, went to orientation. That was a good time. I did pass my test also, so I'm now a professionally certified zero professional advisor. So I am now capable of onboarding clients and doing the whole shebang when it comes to bookkeeping in the eyes of the program. Do I personally feel like I'm ready? Not specifically, but anyway, we're on vacation now, and I went ahead today and started going through and writing a whole bunch of stuff down regarding what I want to do for kind of like pricing and beginning onboarding and just trying to get started, because I realized that when I go to school, I've got all of this that I want to do, and that's time intensive, but also capital intensive. So what is something that I can be doing, which is working, and that's either on campus work or start something and try that. And basically I figured out I've got 3 weeks to try to get this in the operable stage, because it's a large time commitment initially, but if I can get it past that and then into like the maintenance stage, if then I have clients that I can just be working with monthly, then that would be way more advantageous and give me more time to, work less, make the same amount that I need to pay my bills, and then be able to spend that other time in other areas such as clubs, learning how to play guitar, just being involved at school, and not being concerned. And so I've got 3 weeks and I'm gonna give it a go. And that's where I fall now, is I've done all this planning somewhat today of looking at what I want my pricing to be like, and just kind of what my pitch is, what's my value add to this, why me as a bookkeeper. And so I've written all that down. And now my big thing that I have to do and figure out is I've got like my minimum hours I need to bill a client because of my fixed and variable expenses. My fixed expenses could vary. I could take 2 routes. I could get like a Gemini subscription, I could get a Claude subscription alongside Google Workspace and Google Voice, and that way is how I'm gonna build my website, and then I host it on Google Sites, so that I just pay for my domain, and then I host it separate of like a big provider such as Squarespace. That way I wouldn't be using a template or anything, but it would be much cheaper because their yearly plan comes out to about $350 a year. Whereas if I just had a domain, it'd be $20 a year. But if I were to have to piecemeal it all together, each month would be more expensive than if I were to just go ahead and do 1 year with Squarespace. So that's my kind of dilemma now, is looking at a website of like, okay, I need to host it somewhere. Am I either gonna personally host it and have it built by AI, which kind of goes against my premise of what I want to be doing inside of my practice of, I want it to be human, not just a computer doing everything, which there's definitely a component of both, but we will have to see. But my initial thing that I need to do right now is contact the 2 people who could potentially be clients of mine and see if I can work on onboarding them before I set up a website. That way I'm not paying anything, and I already put out the 2 little leads that I may have and see their interest level, and if I can alter, onboard, or if I need to do anything there. And then I can go to next steps. So I think that's where we're at, but that's a little update on time frame and launch and everything else. I've got 3 weeks to figure this out before it'll be too crazy to do so. See if we can get this John to work. It's 8 in the morning. We are out on the road headed to the Austin area. Little update. I think Wednesday of my vacation last week, or time with family, I ended up texting the guy who I was meaning to contact to try and get this all started. I only did that after an Army recruiter reached out to me, and I was like, I cannot foresee myself taking that route and not doing this. So
I looked at the situations, I tried to evaluate and move accordingly and go where it made most sense. So I sent the text, got over that fear, and it just took something else that made me more scared to get me to contact him, which is good. Got through that, and then Thursday we drove back from the beach, and I was kind of talking it all over with my dad of just what I was doing while we were there, because he was hanging out with his fiance and their kids and everything else, and I was as well, but I also had a lot of time where I was alone and I was working on these things, and so I was just catching him up on what I'd been doing. So from there, talked to him about the whole military side of things as well as this project that I'm wanting to start, and he gave some really good insight onto it, and now is the part of putting action to it. So I believe Friday I contacted my uncle. He is a realtor, and then his wife is in bookkeeping. She's has an accounting degree, and she's been doing accounting work since she got out of school. And so she helps him with his business, as well as she has a lot of clients personally that she does bookkeeping with. So I've set up to speak with them this week as well while I'm in the area, because they all live over here. So I'm going to speak with them Wednesday morning. I'm curious to ask them about the relationship of being Christians and also being in business, because wealth is something that's commonly not very popular to be talking about, or even the creation of it, but it is something that's necessary for life. And I don't want to be a greedy person, but I want to go about things correctly. And so I'm curious to hear about how they personally handle the balance and the relationship in that. To give you more insight on what I'm wanting to do, I don't just want to do bookkeeping. I want to do advising, and advising in the sense of I want to combat something that's commonly come up more recently as a term called, I'm going to paraphrase it, but encrapification. You know, I'm sure everybody is aware of what that is, and I really dislike it. And I dislike that we're just automating everything in the sense of AI and not putting any regard to the customer or business owner experience. It is purely for profit generation, and that doesn't sit right with me. I want it to be a holistic experience in the sense that the client is getting the best result that they can, in the sense of my clients of business owners, but they're also generating the best experience for their employees and for their customers, and not at the expense of their business in general. Because for me, whenever I was running my landscaping company, I wanted to take care of my guys, and I didn't want to price extremely crazy to my clients. You know, it's something that it takes time to balance out the work between, but now that I'm learning the skills of how to actually do it, I didn't know before, but now I'm kind of learning how to go about operating a company, holding steady profit while still treating people correctly. And it's whenever you blow profit out of the complete atmosphere is when you start having those problems of encrapification and other things. And so that is completely against my vision, and I know a lot of people don't want that either. As far as a consumer standpoint, why would we want that? Why would we want worse things for more expensive? It doesn't make any sense. And so my whole goal is to be an advising and accounting firm, if you would call it that combats those things and does so. Just how do we go about wealth generation correctly? Because it's something we all need, is money to live and process and just be and exist in our culture. So how can we go about stewarding it properly and generating it properly? Through my conversation with my uncle and aunt, hopefully they'll give me more insight into how they go about those things personally in business, as well as give me the tools that I need to see if I'm even prepared to undertake this, as I'm about to be an undergraduate student 2 weeks from now. Can I do this alongside school? So I will be meeting with them in the morning, and then I'll be meeting with Josh, the person who I reached out to, for lunch. So Wednesday will be a busy day. Today's Monday, got up early today so I can start getting my sleep schedule in order, taking care of the things that I can personally control so that I can show up and be the best I can in the sense of everything that I'm trying to do. Be practicing. You know, I'm gonna have to go get a haircut, I'm gonna have to do some other things to just clean my look up to feel better, but I need to practice what I'm gonna say. I can't walk in there unprepared and expect the best results to happen. And I'm not gonna walk in and just be talking the talk. I need to walk the walk. So Wednesday will be really helpful to let me know if I can do that, just through talking with my aunt who's been doing bookkeeping work for a long time, and see if that I've got what it takes, or if I need to get some more training alongside it, or if I can do both at the same time while also being a student. So this will be a very informative week. If we get what I associate with success, or we get learning, which will lead to success. The Lord is our light through darkness. He has overcome darkness, and we just need to walk in the light. So I'm excited. We're having a good drive. I'm gonna keep it safe and stop recording, and I'll catch y'all when I get there. Well, good evening. If it hasn't seemed like it yet, I'm pretty nervous, and tonight is the night before the big day, if you'll call it, and I've got some tenseness in my chest. Like, I am definitely putting pressure, I believe, on myself on this. I don't know if I'm allowing myself to have there be two outcomes. This has been a strange day. Been trying to get up early. Did get up early, and I mean, I'm tired, but I was able to get a little bit of a nap in, which did definitely help. But I still need to just kind of go through, at least look at what I'm trying to pitch. But I also need to be comfortable in myself of what is it I am pitching. Am I doing it for the reason I'm saying? And I need to know what I'm saying too. So just got gas. It's also really expensive right now. But we're just hanging out with family and friends, because that's what's really important. Me practicing and holding myself to this imagined standard is not healthy all the time. So it's good to want to do good things, but it's also good to know I haven't hung out or seen this very close relative for the past couple months, and I was thinking about doing that, and I wanted to today, and so I'm going to try to not let tomorrow distract me from the present and enjoy the present times. Like my cousins, I haven't been able to hang out with them in a long time. This is the first summer in 6 years that I've seen them both together in the same place. And this is the first time in 6 years that we've all spent the night at my grandmother's. And probably the last, because I'm 18, my younger cousins are 15 and probably, I think, 13. So that's probably the last time that's gonna happen. And yeah, bittersweet, but try to soak it up. And earlier today when we went and saw a movie, I was just tense the whole time. I couldn't focus on the characters of the movie or the people in my life. And so I took a nap, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna focus here and now and know that tomorrow's covered. So I'm gonna get on the road, but I just wanted to give a little update. So I need to remember what my priorities are and why I'm doing these things and who I'm doing it for. It's for that little guy right there. Not little at all, but I'm the little guy, and I need to realize that. So let's get out of here.
Well, I'll make this quick so y'all can see the sunset that's behind me, that's so beautiful, that I found and get to sit out here and look at as well. But today is Wednesday. I had my conversations with my aunt and uncle, and then I went and had my conversation with Josh, which was the guy I was wanting to pitch on doing bookkeeping for. And it went probably as, I didn't really come into it with much expectation. I knew he was a guy that was frugal, and I know very little when it comes to bookkeeping. I'm just getting my toes wet in this area. And so I got a lot of good advice from my aunt and uncle, some stuff to just kind of ponder, look at what my rate should be for whenever I was speaking with him. And then we went out to lunch, and I told him all the benefits of the software that I'm using, its difference with QuickBooks, and really what I would be doing as work, as well as what the software is capable of. And he said he'll take some time to think about it, but he was very receptive throughout the entire conversation, and I really enjoyed it. And no matter what comes from this, I've learned so much and learned that I have so much more to learn. But my pitch was okay. I was nervous. It'll need practice, and my speech needs practice too. It's easier for me to talk to a camera at this point than it is to talk to someone else, but it doesn't mean it's not possible. It just means it'll take some more work. But there's so much that I'm excited to work on with these new things, and I really just am curious to see where the Lord takes it, and he's working in it right now, and I can tell. This week's been a wonderful week too. I've had so much depth with so many people in conversation, and it's been beautiful. And that's something that if I wouldn't have been here and allowed myself to have those conversations, they wouldn't have happened. If I was like focused solely on I need to be here for work, I wouldn't have caught up with my friends, family, and I would have missed out on a lot. But I was able to have so much more this week because I've had that, and those experiences have been brought up. And now I get to sit and see a beautiful Texas sunset and the blessing that is. So the Lord has conquered darkness. We still walk through it sometimes, but just know that there's a light inside us through him. And I'm not going to say I'm in the dark. I felt like I was in the dark way before this, whenever I was first talking at the beginning of this video of I was in the dark in the sense that I couldn't see anything. I was so fearfully locked that I couldn't get out of it. But now there's paths, there's things to take, there's things to do, and things and areas to grow. So by the next time you see me, I'll probably have an answer from Josh, and I'll also be starting a whole new chapter of school and everything else. So I'm going to leave you with that. Jesus loves you, and God bless. I'll catch y'all again in 2 weeks. So we'll watch the sunset.